Hello everyone, welcome to my channel LearnIT. Today I am going to explain you about list and forms and application and data. In previous videos I have already explained you about ITSM in ServiceNow. So today I am going to give you an overview of list and forms and applications and data. So what is list? So list is a content page where we can display number of records from the table which we have selected as part of that list. So rows and columns will be organizing the list. Each row is a record and each column is a field from the record. So these lists can be searchable, sortable, editable. So I will show you in instance how this list looks like. So here is my instance and I am going to show you incident list, how it looks in the system and what all things can be performed as part of this list of incident table. So let me show you. So as we can see, the list is loaded on our screen. So this is the incident table list where we can search anything. Suppose like we have to search for email. So I have searched short description that contains an email. So we got three incident and this filter is generated. Okay, and what we can do more is like we can sort the incident list using clicking on it, or we can sort it using recently created or last created. So we can perform these activities using right click of particular column, and as well as the list layout can be editable. So like if we have to update anything on the list layout record, so we can just select, double click on any columns. Suppose I can double click on software, so I can change the category as hardware and subcategory as monitor. So the value will be changing from the list layout. So now I will show further on list. So we can see the filters which determine which table data is displayed and what kind of filter is applied. So I have already shown you the filter is already applied. So this is the breadcrumb where we have applied the filter. We generally call it as a filter. And we can also show and hide filter from this funnel icon, and as well as we can save the filter for our use in future. So that's all about list and filters of ServiceNow. And next is forms. So each form content page displaying field and values for a single record from a database table. So form can have one column layout or two column layout or a mix of both. Forms are generally opened in modules in all menu while clicking a record number in the list. So you can see the form how it is displayed. And form generally contains sections which are grouping of fields and rendered in different tabs. So it helps in differentiating what field is used for what kind of section. So in this section you can see the notes, related records, resolution information. So these are displayed as a separate section, and inside forms we can define multiple views. So view is an alternative layout for presenting the record to different users. Suppose this is a view for self-service for end users, like who will not be having any roles, so that they will be seeing this current view of self-service. And if someone wants different view like admin users, so those users can see default view as well. So let me show you on instance how this form looks. So let me try to open this form and show you how it looks. So as you can see, this is the two column layout which is established on these field, and this short description and description fields are one column layout that is established as part of single form. And we can see the notes, related records, resolution information section is displayed. So here it is divided on notes. We can get all the details what is happened on this ticket in past, and in related records we can define parent incident or problem record or any change we can add here. And in resolution information, resolution things are populated like resolution code, notes, resolved by, resolved. And this is the related list which is displayed under form, task SLA, affected CI, child incident. Here also we can display the records which is related to this particular incident. So this is called the related list, where we can display different records as well. So next I am going to explain you about ServiceNow applications. So platform offers suite of standard applications such as incident, problem and change, that is IT service management. So these are the common applications which generally every client implements on their system. So first is service management, IT operations management, business management, and any custom application development which any organization requires. So what are those applications? So those applications are a collection of files and data that deliver a service and manage business process. So these are the common applications which manage organization process in a very beautiful manner. So next I am going to explain you about components of an application. So what it contains exactly. So components of application has tables, UI elements, application files, integration, dependencies. So table is generally created when we generate any table. So one table is created on this format, and some security rules has been written when these tables are created. And UI elements generally contains menus, modules, list, forms, and application files generally contains business rules, workflows, UI actions, and many more configurations. And integrations generally contains REST web services, JSON data format, SOAP web services, and more. And dependencies generally contains task table or some another applications if we have any dependencies for another application. Next is application scopes. So in ServiceNow, when we create any application with application scopes, so their scopes is generated separately. Like if suppose application A is created and application B is created. So what would be the difference? So table A would be different completely with table B, and whatever the customizations will be done on application A, so that will not be reflecting on application B, and whatever customization has been implemented on application B, that will not get reflected in application A. So what application scoping does is it protects application by identifying and restricting access to available artifacts and data. Data such as tables, forms, business rules, UI policies. Application developed prior to application scope are in global scope. All custom applications have a private scope that uniquely identifies them and their associated artifacts. So next is configurations versus customizations. So there are two options whenever we are working on instance for organization needs. So that is configurations and customizations. So what are configurations? So we are preparing an instance using ServiceNow best practice and APIs to meet your requirements without making changes to baseline code. And customization side, we are making any changes to code from baseline instance. baseline installation of an instance. So these are the difference between configurations and customization. In next, we will tell like we should avoid customization wherever it is required because it is a good practice. Customization should be ignored many times because there can be some scenario where we can accomplish certain requirements without doing customizations. So there could be some data change on users and groups. You don't have to keep that demo user data. And second is adding adequate scripts like appropriate business rule and client script, adding fields, forms, UI actions within limits. So these things will definitely increase your performance in your ServiceNow instance. So that's why this is considered as a good practice to avoid customizations whenever it is possible. So next place where we get certain amount of applications is ServiceNow store, which is maintained by ServiceNow itself. So what all application we generally get here is, suppose we get any application which is developed by different organization or any person from outside of ServiceNow. So he has created any application and it has been uploaded by that person with the help of ServiceNow, and then the requirement comes in different client side whether we can implement any applications which is existing already in ServiceNow store so that we can utilize it. So it will reduce our time of developing particular applications. So this is the store where we get certain amount of application where we can find and reduce our effort of creating other application which is already there in ServiceNow store. Next is method for data population. So there are number of methods available for populating foundation and process data in ServiceNow. So first is update set and import set. Update set and import set are methods for adding data on instance. Second, cloning and instance data replication. Cloning is a method for overwriting all data on ServiceNow to another ServiceNow instance. Incident data replication copies data from one instance to more than other instance. Suppose there could be like prod, test and dev. So we can just clone our dev and test instance from production. Third is integration. So integration can be used to create new data, update existing data or delete existing data. So next I am going to explain you about update set. What is update set? Update set is a group of customizations that can be moved from one instance of ServiceNow to another. An update set allows administrator to group a series of changes into a named set and then move them as a unit. Every instance of ServiceNow has default update set, but user can create additional named set where they can move their required changes to production or test environment. So what is the difference between named and default update set? So named update set is like we always create any update set to capture client required changes as per the requirement, and default update set is generally created by default in the system and that should not be closed or deleted or changed anytime. Whenever we are performing any update set movement, we should not touch default update set at all because default update set generally captures the data which is not required to move to further instance in test or prod. So default update set is not at all recommended to close or move to test or prod instance. Another way of importing data into ServiceNow is import set. So import set is used to import data from various data source and map that data into ServiceNow tables. So as you can see here some of the data source are there. So data sources generally is Excel, CSV or XML format or HTTP or FTP or JDBC, from where we can use this data source, and using these data source in import set, using import set table, we transform those data and move to target table using transform map. So we can map the data. Suppose we can map user data, location data, groups data, CMDB data. So how we can do the transformation of data from data source to target, data source to import set table, and then to target table. So let me explain the transform map, how it works. So transform map is a set of field map that define the relationship between import set table and a fields on a target table. Suppose when we upload any data using Excel sheet, so import set table is created with the required columns wherever whichever was available on our Excel sheet. Suppose there are three fields: username, first name and surname, which is captured on Excel sheet and it is uploaded into ServiceNow. So import set table will get generated, and after generating this import set table, we create a transform map with the target table, and we map those username values to user ID, first name to first name, and then surname to last name. So this will get mapped to the existing ServiceNow data. Suppose user table or any CMDB table or company table or location table. Next is system cloning. So what system cloning does? So system cloning generally happens from production to test, UAT, QA or dev. So why it has why it has performed system cloning to different instances. Suppose we are working on multiple instance, and as well as we are moving lot of changes from dev to UAT and then UAT to production. So what happens is like sometimes on dev we do some lot of POC, or we do extra development which is not required to move to test or prod, and many times in test environment some changes is captured which is not required to move to prod. So at that point of time the system cloning is required to clone so that all the instances will be in sync. Generally it happens when we do an upgrade or we have a very big go live of any project. And what are the benefits of system cloning? So system cloning benefits involves reliable, automated, non-destructive, and no impact to production instance. And as well as it syncs all the environment, and we can start development on dev, and then we can move required changes to UAT and prod without any impact. And next is system cloning exclusions and benefits. So we can exclude tables or preserve data or do cleanup scripts while completion of cloning. So exclusion of table generally happens like if we don't want to clone any table from prod to non-prod or dev with its data, then we can exclude those tables, and those tables will not copy any data from production to UAT or dev. As well as we can preserve data, and as well as we can do cleanup scripts on dev and UAT, like disabling emails, and we can do reindexing, and system setup will happen like we can just disable in some of the integrations which can be triggered. Yeah, so these all benefits this cloning includes. So another way of loading data into ServiceNow is integrations. So ServiceNow integrates with many third-party applications and external data source to share business data. Suppose standard integrations of ServiceNow includes login, single sign-on, that is LDAP, communications, monitoring tools, discovery and systems management, Active Directory, Jira integrations. So these all integrates with ServiceNow to provide their data in ServiceNow instance so that both the application will be in sync. Whatever data is available on their applications, that would be coming on ServiceNow using some schedule job running every day or in some business hours or in morning or in evening. So these are all about integrations whatever I have mentioned. If you have any questions or any doubt, you can just mention me on comment what is the doubt and what is the question. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel LearnIT.